at peace, open your eyes and come back to this very room. So Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity, says the subconscious realm in man has 12 great centers of action, with 12 presiding egos and personalities. Oh dear. So when Jesus had attained a certain soul consciousness, then he called the apostles to him. And we know in Unity that there are the 12 great centers of that Charles Fillmore has designated, and one for each month. And so what I decided to do this year was just take the first month of every Sunday and choose the center that is for that month. And for this month, it's faith. So we're going to talk about faith this month, just today rather. Well, we always have faith. So what it means when Jesus reached his soul consciousness, it means is when he embodied all that he was there to do. And when he called the apostles, then what he was doing, he was calling in the consciousness that would then take and create and put it out into the universe. He was ready to send his thoughts then to the inner realms of consciousness. And that's what we just did when we were planting our garden. We were planting the inner realm of what's inside of us into consciousness so that it then can come back to us. So actually, according to Fillmore, this is this first and second coming of Christ. And what that means is the first was the receiving of the truth. So when Jesus was up on the mountain for the 40 days and the 40 nights, and he was taking in all that from the Father or from the universal expression, he was then coming into the truth. And that's what we do each week when we're here and with our lives and with our readings and with the different things that we do as giving back to the world. We're coming into our truth, the truth of our being, the essence of who we are. Not the truth that goes on in our head and says, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not this, I'm not that. It's the truth of what we're being, the pure embodiment of spirit, the essence of how we were born. So then the second coming is that when you get to that part, then you have all of this that you want to give out. So it's like me being here, okay, so like I'm the leader, but now I need committees because can't do it all. So, or department heads. So Jesus needed department heads, and he called his 12 disciples or apostles to come, and Peter was the first one that he called. He needed somebody to help now spread the word. So, as I said earlier, Peter then was the first apostle, and Peter represents faith in spiritual, faith in God. And when we begin this expression of our religiousness with divine mind, we're having in faith in that mind. And the omnipresent, all-wise, all-knowing, powerful spirit is what is with us, what we are. So Charles Fillmore said that faith has an abiding place in man's consciousness. I mean, think about it. Where would we be without faith? Now, hope is good. It's better than nothing. But faith is where we want to be. Faith in that no matter what happens, you know, it may sound cliche, there is a silver lining. And there is somewhere. We just don't know which day that it's going to show up. And Jesus said that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And the way that he said it was faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. So no matter what you say, we have faith that these lights are going to work as long as the bill's paid, right? We have faith, we have lights. Does any of you worry when you get here that there won't be a minister speaking? You have faith that every Sunday somebody will be here speaking. So we have faith in a lot of invisible things. But when it comes to faith in God or faith in a universal principle or faith in something that we don't see, then we waver. We so have faith in gravity. So there's all these scientific principles in the world, and we have faith in them. And the one that's so solid, the one that loves us, the one that's there for us all the time, is the one we use least of all. You know, there's a power in the universe. We can use it. But it's not like, you know, when I was a hairdresser, when something went wrong with color or when all else fails, then read the directions. So when all else fails, then let's try God. Let's pray. Right? So that's what it's about, having faith that I know, having faith that this is divine expression, having faith that we can hold in. How can all of these people in the world, from the hurricanes and fires and earthquakes, how could they possibly sustain without faith? How could they possibly? I think without faith, it would be, you know, almost like you could go and be certifiable. So Peter was called Simon before he met Jesus. And Simon means hearing, which represents receptivity. And so the main center then is faith, Peter, and then we start with the first chakra, the brain, and that's receptivity. So the most important person for Jesus then was to bring Peter in and say that, now I make you Peter, my rock, because Peter was the only one. Do you remember when Jesus was saying, who am I? And all of the apostles were, you know, hedging back and forth, and then Peter was the one that said, you are the Messiah. And then Jesus said, then I build my church on the rock with Peter. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. Anyhow, so Peter's faith in Jesus shows that faith grows in mind. Faith grows in mind. And that from there, we know that we evolve. And as we evolve, our faith is stronger and stronger. So Fillmore says, the forces of the invisible are much closer than we think. The forces of the invisible. What is the invisible? The Creator, whatever that is to you. So the forces of the invisible are much closer than we think. And when we turn our attention, action, you have to move. Did you see that bluebird go over there? Wasn't that beautiful? Thank you, God. So when we turn in the direction, then the response is usually so pronounced, we call it a miracle. And what we call miracles sometimes are just our faith in believing in things that happen. You could say it's a miracle, I'm here, but my faith was before I die, I'll be a unity minister. So somehow, through all of that faith, I am here. So when you make up your mind to be in truth, is what you put your faith in. So what does that mean, what I put my faith in? Whatever it is that you are believing or your attitude towards things then becomes the faith of the thing itself. And it's embodied within you, and you can't deny it. Once you are on this road, once you are beginning to grow and evolve in faith and understanding, and the part that it's within you, that's where that hard part comes. It's within us. And sometimes we don't want to take responsibility for it. I didn't make this happen. They did, she did, the world did. No, we're all part of what is created by our energy, by our vibrations. So when you have faith, you know the sun will rise, the moon will set. Is this true? Even if you can't see it this morning, by the way, before it got cloudy, the sunrise was beautiful. I don't know if any of you saw it. It was absolutely stunning. But so let me ask you this then. So you have faith in all these things. How many of you have faith? You don't have to raise your hands. How many of you have faith in yourself? How many of you have faith in your fellow man? That's a little difficult right now, isn't it? But how many of you have faith in your fellow man that the right thing will happen? How many of you have faith of God? How many of you really have faith that God in me, as me, is me? We're going to talk a little bit more about this next week. In unity, the I am a child of God is being changed into I am part of the divine mind, because being a child of God makes us separate from God, and we are not separate from God. We are one. God in me, as me, is me, means that the kingdom of heaven is where? Within, absolutely. The kingdom of heaven is within. Do we have faith in that? Or are we just saying it? Do we really, really believe it? And the belief is the king. Are you faith-filled or fear-filled? See, we have a choice. We have a choice. We have faith-filled or fear-filled. Where are we in that? How complete is your faith? These are all questions that need to roll through your mind this week as you're thinking, sometime at least, about Sunday and this lesson. So for faith to be complete, you need to have both the subconscious and conscious mind in agreement. Now, what does that mean? Subconscious, conscious mind in agreement. What does that mean? Remember, the conscious mind, that's your mental faculties, directs. Okay? Conscious mind directs. You wouldn't be able to be functioning and hearing everything I'm saying if your conscious mind wasn't right here in this room with all of us. Your subconscious mind obeys. It has no sense of humor, none whatsoever. So your conscious mind, which directs to your subconscious mind, which obeys. Therefore, if you go around life saying, I'm stupid, 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 your subconscious mind hears, I'm stupid, 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 and guess what happens? You start acting stupid because the subconscious mind obeys. What you put out into universe comes back to you because it's an energy. There is vibrational energy, and when we really got that, I would be up here just sparkling and you wouldn't see it. But so I'm not there yet either, by the way. But so conscious mind, what are you putting into your conscious mind? What are you putting in? How are you directing it to the subconscious mind, which obeys? It does what you say. If you keep saying, as somebody pointed out to me so pointedly this morning, I want, then what happens is the universe keeps you wanting. So what I know then, as the conversation was going, is that the youth church will be all cleaned out, and I'm going to get it ready for Sunday school, because I was told my attitude was wrong. So, you know, when you guys get smarter than me, it's a little difficult. You know? It definitely is. So the subconscious mind and the conscious mind have to be in agreement. Now, and if your conscious mind, you're saying, I did it this morning. You make a decision. Here's what I decided. I am going to drink hot water and lemon every morning and make my bed, no matter what. Anything else can slide, but that's what I'm going to do. So I did that this morning. Now, what would happen if I got up this morning and say, I'll start it tomorrow? What am I telling my subconscious mind? Right? Same with prayer. If you pray, when all else fails, pray. And then after that, even if you're praying with one of our prayer chaplains and beautiful prayer is being said for you, and then you walk away and go, I wonder if that's going to happen, you've just negated the prayer because you're feeding the wrong information into your subconscious mind. So does that make sense? Yeah? Makes sense? Good. Okay. So faith is created or generated from your conscious mind, and if you're controlling your thoughts, you're controlling your mind. Then what you feed and put into your subconscious mind will be in agreement with your conscious mind, and faith will be complete. Okay? Now you just passed Unity 101. All right. Okay. So, however, if you negate everything you say by your words or actions, then you're sending out the wrong information. You're sending out. That's why I was saying to you today, if you're planting a garden, if you're planting your new faith seeds, if you're planting infinite possibilities for this year, then embody them, believe them, and take action. It's not enough to say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and here are my ideas. You got to make the step. You got to move forward. You got to do something. You can't just sit there with the idea, because then what happens? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, so you have to embody. And what does that mean? So don't make a list this long, because you know what? You're not going to be able to keep it. I made a list this long. I am drinking hot water and lemon first, and I am making my bed. There is a great book out there that I read about a year ago, Making Your Bed by some admiral. It's a great book. I really recommend it. I gave it to my prayer partner for Christmas. So anyhow, so we get this, that faith then is a deeper knowing. It's a deeper knowing in the fact we truly have. If we had 100% faith, you know what? We wouldn't have to pray, because the universe would already know, because what we have within goes out. The universe knows. You know, it's like before we ask, it is done. And it happens so many times. The universe knows. But before we ask, what other things are we adding to that? And that's why prayers are not answered. And sometimes God says no, or a universe can't manifest for you because you're not embodied in what you want to do. So do you all have faith tomorrow? And I'm laughing about this because I don't have any. But do you all have faith in tomorrow that you'll have bread? Well, actually, I will tomorrow. I'm going to the store today. But when I wrote that yesterday, I laughed. So, but give us this day our daily bread. Do we believe that? I mean, every one of you know that you're going home to your house. You know that you have food. You know that you have family. You know that you have a car with gas. You have faith in all of these things. So you have food, shelter. You have everything you need. When you're living in the moment, the next moment will be fine. When you live in the moment, it'll be fine, because you're coming from a place of faith. So what about this thing, oh ye of little faith? What about that one? So why do we accept what we know to be true about some things and not trust the truth about universal presence, God, your creator, spirit? If everything is a principle, and unity teaching is based on principle, we have 5 principles, which we're going to be talking about in the next 2 weeks. We have 5 principles. Why do we accept everything except the principle of the universal intelligence? Because we're afraid. We forget to trust this invisible presence. And in the spiritual realm, and not, faith means a belief in a presence of invisible principle law, and it directly responds to you. And that says, wow, do I have to be on call 24/7 with my mind? Yeah, you do. When it says in the Bible to guard the temple gates, what that means is to guard the temple gates. Your mind is the temple gates. Guard what you're putting in your mind. You know, in teaching classes and doing counseling work, I find the 2 most difficult things in classes is getting across the idea of the principle behind this science and acceptance that we are sons and daughters of a divine, that we're part of it. You know, how could I be a part of God? I'm so awful. And we talked about that last week. None of you are awful at all. Absolved. So we know that. And God bless you. See, it's the truth. So when we use our creative imagination with strong faith, it will create for us that one substance. Whatever we have formed in thought, we have to form it. And in this way, we become the co-creators with God. We are made of the same stuff that God is. There is a universal substance and energy that is poured within us before conception. There is something that created this world. And you want to know something? The wisest man alive can't tell us what that is. But the profound thinkers of the whole world have been trying to figure this out, and no one has come to an answer. But what we know is, and what I know is, for the basis of my faith, that there is something greater than I that wants me to be greater than I am and fulfill my purpose in life. And that is my belief. And it's the law that works. Life is, and we live it. The law of mind is, and we use it, which means consciousness feeds the subconscious. The love and law. Love points the way, law makes it happen. Oprah is quoted on saying, in every aspect of our lives, we're always asking ourselves, how am I of value? Or a lot of people will go, I'm not enough. But the opposite, how am I of value? What is my worth? Yet I believe that worthiness is our birthright, and it is. We were born worthy. We were born as this divine, just look at after service, the face of this little baby here. He absolutely radiates love and joy and the precious smile. And you tell me that that's not an infinite possibility of God creating the most beautiful thing on earth. That is why when we see a baby, we like, oh, baby. Even those of us who don't have, they say they don't have maternal instincts. We all do. Men and women alike, by the way. But so there's something there. Oprah is right. It takes courage to change. It's not easy. I got that. It's not easy. But it takes faith. But it takes a leap of faith. A huge leap of faith. So often we hear, I took a leap of faith. So what does that mean? And as anyone who can tell you, it means to move out, to do something, and it may make zero sense to everybody around you. Do it anyway. When I left the corporate world to become a minister, my family and friends thought I was crazy. I had a high-profile job. I made a lot of money. I traveled internationally, blah, 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 blah. And I was not happy, and I was not unhappy. I just was. Do you ever get in that place? Like, nothing's wrong. I'm not unhappy. I'm not happy. I'm just here. And I think, I had dinner with the Carries last night, and we were talking about that. And we were talking about people that aren't even aware yet of that level to be able to say, I'm just here. And so when you that's the first step. When you finally realize that you're just here. But I knew something was so missing in my life. And, classes, and you all know the story, not important. But that was the fulfilling. That was my bliss. I wanted to be a psychiatrist. My mother made me be a hairdresser, and on the story goes. But it came back. That's why I know about bad perms. That's why it came back, So it's really important to take that leap of faith when there's something you want to do. And when you make up your mind, all of the people that you need to help you will show up. They just come and they show up. It happens. We take a leap of faith when we finally say, I give up. I give up. I surrender. Not I give up, who cares? But I give it up. I give it up. I surrender. I trust that there's a higher universe. I trust that it will take this and do something with it for me. We take a leap of faith when we follow our bliss. This is my bliss. We take a leap of faith doesn't have to be so gigantic. It can be a small thing. Like a little boy, a teacher realizing that he needed to just move his hands. That leap of faith by that teacher presenting this alternative to the parents is what brought this boy, who I know you will hear. I wish I knew his name. I forgot. That will be an artist someday. Without a doubt, you will hear from him. Dr. Holmes in The Science of Mind tells us the divine will never fail us if we have implicit faith. But we are so caught up with fear, doubt, uncertainty that it becomes necessary for us to take time every day to reaffirm our union with the great outflowing giveness of life. Take time every day. That means your spiritual practices, whatever they may be for you, journaling, walking, meditating, gardening, whatever it is, just spiritual reading, 10 minutes in the morning. It is the power of the Spirit within man acting as life, mind and body, the nature of man. When we have faith, we enter into a spirit that expresses faith, and you see it. You know, we were talking about something the other day, and there was a question, well, no, that's not going to happen. I go, yeah, well, but that's, no, yeah, it will. And it's like, don't take away my faith. I'm not letting you. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We'll see. So the mind that lives in doubt is in bondage. The mind that dwells in faith is free. Many things are possible when people have hope, this is sure, but even more, you have to have faith. And still more, the person who knows how to love, but everything is possible when we have all love, faith, and hope. So the life of faith, therefore, is filled with promise, filled with joy. So I'm going to ask you today, what do you choose? Up to you. And so ends the lesson, and so begins a very precious new moment.